folks, welcome to the channel, The Agnostic Philosopher. I am both and one at the same time. Christopher Hitchens here. You either believe in creation or you don't, and I saw a small snippet of this, even though it's only a minute long. I didn't watch the whole thing. I like to experience things first time on camera as often as possible. But I did see within the first 5 seconds, he talks about believing in you either believe in creation or you don't, a priori, and prior to it, just by thinking about things. So let's find out what he's got to say. It's really just, theoretical framework, if you will, rather than pure observation, because you can't observe creation. One, if however it happened, it already happened, whether a Big Bang or the Garden of Eden story. Either way, it's already happened. But let's see how he develops it.
Now, either a priori you believe in a creation story or you do not. I'll just have to say it. I'm one of those people who's meant by Pascal. He's writing his pensée to those who are so made that they cannot believe. You have to include me in that. I don't believe in a creator. I don't believe I'm supervised. I don't believe that a being set the universe in motion. And I don't know it.
Then how is it set in motion?
And I don't know any physicist who does, and I'm not a physicist
I quoted
myself.
a lot of
but
them already.
If you and I had been having this argument in the 18th century, you'd be saying that I should recognize Jesus as my personal savior, and you wouldn't have heard of the Big Bang.
I would have heard of...
And you don't convince me...
What does that have to do with the question?
I'll just have to say this. You don't convince me that there's any connection between your faith and any scientific observation.
There's a difference between proof and persuasion.
I'm not here to debate physics, and I'm not competent to do so.
You don't have an answer for that, how the universe came into existence out of nothing.
No more than you do, no.
The second question.
If all space, all matter, and all time had a beginning, the cause must be outside of space, matter, and time.
You don't know how it happened, and neither do I.
Yeah, okay. So he basically makes my point a lot, not on the specific matter, but it is consistent with the knowledge that we just don't know. There's a lot that we don't know, and that's not news. But when people say, here's how it works, this is true, there's going to be a judgment day. There's not going to be a judgment day. We simply don't know. We're so schooled literally to get answers. The academic institution, starting in grammar school, just preschool on up through middle school, high school, college, we take tests. And the red ink says, got it wrong. You got 9 out of 10 right, which means you got 1 wrong. But you're looking to get the right answer, right? Not the worst thing, because in a sense, you're learning how to think, hopefully. Philosophy teaches you how to think, not what to think. So we are literally training our psyches from a young age to get answers. And so many people are uncomfortable with questions, with having questions. And so we feel we have to move into that psychological space where we know what we're talking about. We're going to prove that we know what we're talking about. Teenagers certainly do this to a greater extent, possibly than the rest of mankind. But we feel like we need to have the answers. It supports the notion that our pattern recognition is right on target. My personal pattern recognition. I've seen all these different parts of life, and I've put the pieces together, and here's how they work. And scientists do that in the lab and in their schooling. Mathematicians do it with their formula. Theologians do it with the texts, and they take a verse from here, there, over there, one from over there, and here, and then piece it together with something they may have observed in life, and they say, here's the argument laid out. I've made the right analysis of the data. The pattern is complete. Here's how it works repeatedly over and over and over again. And we simply don't know. It's that simple. Hitchens even just said that, and he was right. I don't know what this debate was right here. It seemed to be a little heated. Hitchens loves that, by the way. I think he sets people up knowing that he can reduce them to rage in a heartbeat. And that is a certain type of personality. And he said he thinks he's like, who did he say? Pascal, where he was just born to not believe in a creator. And so maybe he can't remember a time when he ever did. But these two were going at it, and the gentleman was very upset, evidently, about, well, where did everything come from if it couldn't come from anywhere? And Hitchens' point was right. He says, look, we don't know. I don't know any more than you do. I'm not a physicist. I'm not arguing as a physicist. He's really arguing on principle that we just don't know where it all came from. It may have always been here. So this kind of stuff is fun. It's kind of fun to watch too, because not only can you learn through this channel and other places, and it's one of the goals that I have is to introduce greater civility into discussion, because you can ardently disagree with somebody on a way of thinking, but you don't have to dislike them. You don't have to get uber emotional about things. But people do get vested in their opinions. If you differ from them and you're diametrically opposed to a belief that they hold, they take it personally, like you're invalidating their entire existence. Maybe you're invalidating what they were taught as a child from their parents. So in a sense, you're invalidating their parents and the culture, the family culture in which they grew. And that can be unsettling. But really, when somebody, ideas have to stand on their own merits. It's that simple. It doesn't matter who is saying it, when it's being said, or how it's being said. An argument must stand on its own merits. It's just plain and simple. So, well, out of a 59-second short, we got all that. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed that. Please subscribe and like it, and we'll go from there. Have a great day. See you on another video, and keep thinking philosophically.